Tim Raines. It baffles me that you don't
Close.
have him. Now, why wouldn't you
close.
have him at Hall of Fame?
Because if you look at his years, first off, I want 8 Hall of Fame years. I want 8. I don't want 6. I don't want 5. I don't want 3, unless you're Koufax, who was so dominant. I want 8 to 10 Hall of Fame years. If you look at Raines and go year by year by year, after 87, you are going to have a very difficult time of scrounging out a couple more Hall of Fame years. A couple years with the White Sox, he had 100 runs scored, hit about 285, 290. That's debatable, but he doesn't have a ton of Hall of Fame years after 1987.
Well, he had 6, what I call, I hate to throw this out,
4 to 5.
5-win years. No, that's a fact. Take a look here. When you add it all up, he's one of the top 6 left fielders in the history of baseball.
When you looked at Hall of Fame, they didn't have a great throwing arm. But if you look at Tim Raines,
No, there they are. Bonds, Williams, Rickey, Yaz, Raines. By the way, he's ahead.
Do you think the average fan cares about the war thing?
No, but a professional analyst should.
No, you're dealing with the fans. The fans care.
No,
here. The fan doesn't care about the war.
You are
no
a professional baseball analyst. You should be teaching them.
You had Blyleven
Don't
over
get
Koufax.
confused. Listen, if the thing about wins.
Blyleven over Koufax. Doesn't that ruin your war thing?
No, you know why?
Why?
Koufax had a very short career. War is cumulative. You add it up over the thing.
Jim Palmer.
Well, hold
That's
on.
ridiculous.
Go back to Koufax. Koufax obviously is going to have a low career war, but that doesn't measure his greatness. You have to look at his peak years. Now, go back to left field. Hold on. Raines is ahead of Billy Williams, Stargell, Rice, and Lou Brock.
War. I don't pay attention to war.
Yeah, but you know what war takes into
cares?
account? No, you know what it takes into account? Stolen bases. Stolen bases is where Raines made his bones.
Okay.
Take a look at this.
Vince Coleman stole a lot of bases. Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
Because he didn't have a 385 on base like Tim Raines. Take a look at Raines versus Tony Gwynn. They're essentially the same career. Did you know that? Or do you think that?
He's not essentially as good a player as Tony Gwynn.
Actually,
I like Raines. You're making me knock him. I like Raines. He's a very good player. But the Hall of Fame is supposed to be a no-doubt-about scenario where you look at a player and there he is. He's a Hall of Famer. No questions asked. With Raines, there are questions. You got to debate this. And obviously, the writers feel the same way. He only gets 56% of the vote.
Yeah, well, the writers are not looking at it and doing comparative analysis.
Well,
they should do a better job.
You know, the writers do an excellent job with this. How many guys who are not in the Hall of Fame that they have blown or they put in the Hall of Fame who should have been in the Hall of Fame?
You know what? Because they do the obvious. When you get Hank Aaron, how hard is it to give him your vote?
There's 574 of them. They can't be all wrong. You still got a leeway of 75%. I mean, come on.
Only 371 of them.
There's a reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's been on that ballot forever and he can't get in.
No, you know why there's a reason? There is a reason. Because the writers can't do comparative analysis. Because most of them can't. Not all of them. Not the guys sitting over there. But most of them can't. All right, Mike Mussina. Take a look at Mike Mussina versus John Smoltz. I was surprised how close they were. Innings pitched within 100 of each other. ERA plus. Now, that levels things out for the run-scoring environment, which is important, and the park effects. There it is. ERA plus. Smoltz a little bit better. And runs allowed per nine. Now, Doggy. All right, hold on. No, Dog. Wait.
Where's the Cy
No,
Youngs?
Dog. Runs. You know who votes on that? The writers.
I don't care. It counts. Where are the Cy Youngs?
RA9 WAR, which you just saw there,
my God,
is runs
war.
allowed per 9 plus the innings pitched. That's all it is.
How many I got type does he have by his name?
Hold on.
Boldface type. How many years did he lead the league in some category?
Go back to what I just had. How do you explain that they're that close in runs allowed and innings pitched and everything?
Life on
and
the line.
Smoltz are
John
like this.
Smoltz and Mike Mussina pitching.
Life on the line.
Yeah, life on the line.
I'll take them both, and they're both Hall of Famers.
Did Mussina? He had 6 Hall of Fame years. That's it. And by the way, did he ever have 51 saves in a season like Smoltz did?
Of course
not. Did he win a Cy Young like Smoltz did? Did he win a Cy Young like Smoltz did?
I wonder, what is your objective methodology in all this?
Watch the games. That's the methodology.
So you saw the games Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron played.
I wasn't qualified then. We understand that. But I saw Mussina pitch. Did you see Mussina?
All his games?
And did you think he was
against the AL East?
Did you think he was a Hall of Fame pitcher?
Yeah.
And I love Mussina. I hate to knock him too.
When he was
but do you think he's a Hall of Fame pitcher? Hall of Fame now.
Let me say this. In fairness.
That's Seaver, Gibson, Marichal, Koufax, Palmer. Those kind of quality pitchers. He's on that level?
Actually, he's better than Marichal and Palmer.
Oh, no, he's not. He's not better than Marichal.
In his basic run prevention. In his basic run prevention, he was. ERA plus, he's better. ERA plus, he's better. Objectively looking at data instead of my gut, my feeling.
Brian, I love you. He's a better pitcher than Juan Marichal.
Over his career, yeah.
No, he's not.
He was better at preventing runs.
How many 20-game winners? Marichal won 25 games every year.
Oh, my God. All right, hold on.
He won 25 games every year, Marichal.
Speaking of great players, did you know, I'm going to throw this up there, for a 14-year run, Edgar Martinez was the equal offensively to DiMaggio and Mike Schmidt. Not saying they fielded like DiMaggio or Schmidt, but Edgar Martinez was as good a hitter as those two.
Listen, I'm a huge Martinez fan, but since I have to be the contrarian here,
you don't have to be a contrarian. Are you giving him your vote?
I'm going to bring in the DH scenario. He never played a game in the field. Well, he did a little third base. I understand that. But overall, he's a designated
500 games at third base.
But not enough to make a big deal. He is not a great defensive third baseman. He's not a defender. He's not a base runner. He's a great hitter. I love Martinez. He's a great hitter. Do you want to put him in the Hall of Fame for being a great hitter? He doesn't have the cumulative numbers that you like. He doesn't have those specific
for
that
me,
you like.
like a 418 on base, 520 slugging.
But he's got black
does
type
it for
by
me.
his name. He's not going to make it, but he's got black type by his name. Led the league in doubles, won 2 batting championships. I wouldn't vote for him because I don't like voting for DHs, but I can understand your point about Martinez.
I think a DH has to be overwhelmingly great offensively to overcome the defense. I think Martinez passes that. Alan Trammell. Now let's talk a little defense. In a run-depressed environment, playing a great shortstop, and he was defensively.
Excellent.
Where are you missing the point on Trammell?
6 Hall of Fame years, and not necessarily in succession. If you go look at his career,
what did Barry Larkin have?
He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame either. That's ridiculous.
Oh, you have Larkin out?
Oh, God, yes. The guys that you've never. How did Larkin make the Hall of Fame? Nobody. He's a very good. This is not the Hall of. This is the Hall of Fame of the very good. You want to put all these very good players in the Hall of Fame? I'm into the great Hall of Fame players. He is not a great shortstop. He's a very good player for a long time, but that's not great. I want great.
Our basic disagreement would be that you're thinking you don't want a big haul. My argument would be, and Bill James did this work. In 1929, 24% of all at-bats taken in the major leagues were taken by Hall of Famers. The Hall of Fame was bigger than you think back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s.
And of course, in 55.
And now it's down to like 10%.
Well, if you look at a perfect example, and I agree with that, because if you look at 1955, last year we had 4 in. Ted Lyons, a White Sox pitcher, and Dazzy Vance made the Hall of Fame. There is no way those two should be in the Hall of Fame. So I do agree they put too many people in the Hall of Fame in yesteryear. That doesn't mean I have to do the same thing.
I think there's some bad choices, but the main thing, I think for some reason with baseball, and you and I are very nostalgic about baseball too, and I love the old black and white stuff and the old players, but we somehow think that the players that just played aren't as great as the old players, so we have to keep the hall small because everyone has to be as great as DiMaggio and Herron. And it shouldn't be that way.
It's an eye test, though. It's an eye test when you watch a player in any sport.
So where's Kurt Schilling? How are the writers missing Kurt Schilling? Where was the eye test on Schilling?
But it's debatable, though, with Schilling. We got to be fair. We just can't say it's a no doubt about it. It's a debatable choice. You and I will lean towards Schilling because of postseason. You know, he had 3 or 4 20-game seasons. He was great in the big game. So it's debatable. I'm not going to sit there and say that that's a crime that he's not in. But the Hall of Fame should be in any sport. When you watch the player play, whether it's at any sport, Jordan, football, Montana, any sport, did you think you were watching, if you're a sports fan, you know, do you think you were watching a Hall of Famer? It's something that a sports fan can identify with because a sports fan worth his salt knows when he's watching somebody perform whether that's a great Hall of Fame player. And half the guys you give me there, Trammell, Mussina, Reigns to a certain degree. Martinez didn't play defense. When you looked at them, you didn't turn the television set off or leave the ballpark saying, wow, I just saw a Hall of Fame shortstop today at Alan Trammell. You didn't say that. And because of that, he's not a Hall of Famer.